What the fuck is going on, Fire Family? It's your host with the most, Mr. Meyer with the fire, here to take the collective vibration higher. Today's a good day. It's a beautiful week. Can you see me? It's all blurry. Okay, boom ski. I hope you're doing amazing, gang. I'm doing great. I just got my wisdom teeth taken out and I'm feeling kind of froggy right now. If I start leaping around, don't mind me. Let me share the screen. So, this is your favorite astrology podcast. If I do say so myself, if I could just speak for you all, yeah, you love this. You enjoy this. You've been watching this for 72 weeks in a row. Whoa, that's dedication. Oh man, it doesn't stop, does it? Everything happens so much. So, let's get to it. This is the week's astrology for the week of October 22nd until October 29th. That is Tuesday to Tuesday. Okay. I am going to make sure I didn't mess up the screen share. Check out this. Ooh. Okay. So, hey, gang, what I'm going to do is show you the moment I'm filming this. The 22nd will go a week in advance. I'll walk you through the celestial weather. But I also want to remind you this is the map, and the map and the terrain are not the same. And what I mean by that is don't get lost in the sauce. Okay. Your life is the terrain. In the astrology, will give you higher patterns of meaning and order to observe. But what you do with it is what you do with it. And what I mean by that is like, it doesn't fucking matter where the sun is, jabroni. It doesn't matter where Pluto is. It does on some level. There is some form of correspondence. But at the end of the day, you get your ass up out of bed and you go be great. You hear what I'm saying? So, gang, today is the first day of Scorpio season. Get excited. If I have any Scorpios in the chat, let me know in the comments so we can show you some love. Shout out to my Scorpios. This is your time to shine. And I strongly recommend everybody understand what house Scorpio is in so you can see what part of your life is going to be highlighted, because this is a whole new theme, a whole new seasonal transition. All right. So you can see in this chart, and we'll talk more about this. We'll circle back in a second. The sun is at 0 Scorpio. The moon is in the waning phase, which means the next lunation is the new moon in Scorpio. Moon is in Cancer right now. All right. We've got Mercury in the sign of Scorpio. We have Venus in the sign of Sagittarius. Maybe we might go like pink for the annotations, or purple. That looks better. I like purple for Scorpio season. Looks good. We've got Mars at 25 Cancer. We've got Jupiter at 21 Gemini, retrograde, I may add. Saturn is at 13 Pisces, retrograde as well. We've got Neptune at 27 Pisces, retrograde. Pluto is direct at 29 degrees of Capricorn in 40 minutes. Oh, buddy. We've got the North Node at 5 degrees of Aries. South Node would therefore be at 5 degrees of Libra. And Chiron is at 20 Aries a week from now. You guys might already be getting the rhythm, catching on to speed, but in a year, which is 365 days, the sun will travel roughly 1 degree every single day in the 360 wheel. So that means the sun is going to be at 7 degrees of Scorpio at the end of the week. Oh, buddy, get excited. And you'll see that the moon is still going to be waning, very close to the Scorpio new moon, which is actually going to occur on November 1st. So this week is pre-new moon, waning week. It's time to release, let go, shed your skin, or make like a tree and leaf. You get me? And we've got Mercury moving up to 24 degrees of Scorpio. Venus will move up to 14 Sag. Jupiter will move back to 20 degrees of Gemini. I skipped Mars, y'all. Pardon me. Mars moves up to 28 Cancer. Jupiter moves back to 20 Gemini. Saturn moves back to 12 Pisces. Uranus gets to 25 Taurus. Neptune is still at 27. Pluto moves forward like 3 minutes. North Node moves back a couple degrees. South Node moves back a couple degrees. Chiron is sitting pretty still. So a lot of cool things. But also, I will say that this is not the most action-packed week as far as astrology goes. The sun in Scorpio is very beautiful, very intense, very transformative. So I don't want to say, I kind of want to retract my statement earlier that there's not much going on, because there's plenty going on. But as far as ingress, planets moving signs is what that means. Lunations. It's kind of a calm week. And then most of the outer planets are retrograde. We're not getting too much motion there. And the inner planets aren't changing signs. So let's back that ass up back to the 22nd of October. And we'll just kind of go bit by bit by bit. And I also want to say, guys, in the description of this video, I have linked all the events of Scorpio season. If you haven't yet seen that video, please do check it out. And you can get a jump on the month because it is a very interesting month, I will say. Big changes are occurring this month. So the first thing we want to talk about is really the sun. We love the sun. If we didn't have the sun, we would all be dead. That's right. So we're grateful for the sun. We're grateful for the gift of life, guys. Life isn't always going to be hooray ice cream and sunshine and rainbows, but living beats the hell out of not living. Why? And some would be inclined to disagree with me. So I want to elaborate why. Because I know there's times in life where shit gets so fucked up. You're like, man, is this really my life? Is this what life is all cracked up to be? And one of my besties told me this phrase years ago, and it just shook me to my soul. So I'm going to repeat it to you guys. If your life sucks, it probably has something to do with the way that you're living it. And I was like, mind blown. That surprised me like I couldn't believe, man. I will never forget that. You know. So life isn't always sunshine and rainbows. Sometimes we have a dark cloud, a rainy day, but that's life. Life has its own cycles and stages and ebbs and flows. And, you know, if you wanted it to be all sunshine and no rain, all the trees and plants would die, then you would die. And that's no life you want to live, being dead, right? No, Sirski. So you got to give yourself grace, ease, the chance to change and to bend and flow with the seasons and the times, man. And this is really a Scorpio phenomenon, change. For things to change for us, we have to change, right? And also, I will say, beyond how we interact with life, change is a constant theme of life. So if we don't give ourselves permission to change and we just want to stay the same, the world will change around us, kind of leaving us behind. So it's always important to be flexible on some level. This is a very deep archetype, guys. And I will say life, the reason life is so good, guys, is that with life lies the ability to create. And not everybody agrees with this sentiment. Not everybody will see life this way or participate in life this way. And I will say, even though I'm conveying this knowledge to you, this hasn't necessarily been the easiest for me to get along with, okay? We all come into the world the same way. And what I mean is kicking and screaming and naked, cold, and afraid and completely helpless and dependent on circumstance for survival. So there becomes a time in the hero's journey where we have to mature and evolve and bear the weight of the world and our responsibilities. And that's where boys become men. That's where girls become women. That's where thems become capital thems. You know what I mean? So good stuff, man. But if we can't shoulder that weight, we're still going to take a backseat in life and operate at least somewhat under the assumption that life is happening to us and not for us. Okay? So that's what I mean about evolution, is going from reactive to proactive. This is just one phase of evolution. There's many stages. And, you know, if you want to share in the comments what stage of evolution you're going through, I'd love to know. Certainly. I know that's very deep and personal, and it is Scorpio. So I wouldn't be surprised if nobody wants to talk about it. But hey, I'm all ears, man. I really am. Scorpio is the eighth sign of the zodiac, guys. And I just want to add right quick that whatever sign the sun is transiting in front of relative Earth in its orbit around the sun, and by sign I mean constellation, we are going to be receiving this light from the universe, the Scorpio lights. Okay. On one note, it's like you won't really see Scorpio in the sky at this point because the sun is in front of it, but it's like if you had a lamp cast out into the heavens and it was pointed on Scorpio right now. It's like that type of time. Okay. So the sun in Scorpio, the eighth sign of the zodiac, this is a fixed water sign. And In an esoteric lens, this means emotions that don't change. This is stabilizing our desire. This sign is ruled by Mars. So we have 30 days of Scorpio, guys. And what this essentially means is we're going to be led by our feelings. We're going to be led by our desires and the inner world, the hidden world. And it's no coincidence that this is a transitional sign. And it is where we celebrate Halloween or Samhain and venerate the dead and the ancestors. It all runs parallel. And that'll be more towards the end of the month, which is actually coming up kind of pretty soon, interestingly enough. So make like a tree and leaf. What parts of you do you need to let go of? Scorpio generally represents power, okay? And this is going to be a very big theme for the month. And I want to say, guys, last month of Libra really did feel like a pre-Scorpio season with the way we had Venus in the sign of Scorpio, and we ended off Libra with the Sun square to Pluto. And we're kicking this week off with the Sun square to Pluto. So I will just say, guys, this Scorpio season does kind of have an intense beginning, okay? I don't think it's a good or a bad thing. Honestly, I feel like the pressure was already pretty high in this last week with the Sun square to Mars. We've broken out of the Sun Mars square. And on the first day of Scorpio, we finally break out of the Sun Pluto square. So I say intense, but at the same time, it kind of feels like a bubble has popped on the first day and that there's some form of relief. All right. Big changes have already happened in this last week as a result of those sun squares that we just popped out of. And you may kind of start this week with this feeling that something important has been purged or eliminated from your life, for better or for worse. I hope it's for better. That's the way I always look at life. Life's good. Yes, so my conjecture, is that a good word? Yeah, I like it. I postulate, that's an even better word, that this month is really going to be about surrendering and letting go of everything that holds us back from our vital force, our power, our energy. To me, this feels like the glow up. This feels like transformation. All right. And what does that look like? Becoming a greater version of yourself. All right, gang. Scorpio has this intense, penetrating insight. So I will say that you may find yourself more interested this month in magic and the occult, things that can increase your sense of power, popularity, purpose. You may also kind of take a backseat into the shadows. Secrecy is also a very Scorpio phenomenon. So I take it that social circles, I mean, are going to tighten up a little bit this month. People are going to be a little bit more reserved with their energy. But in context of the connections we have already, or the ones we choose to involve ourselves within, intimacy is going to be priority. And there will be a depth added to that lens. So I think that's pretty cool as well. Scorpio is a very loving and loyal and fierce sign. But I can't overstate the need that Scorpios have for control. I'm not just talking about Scorpio sun people. I'm talking about the Scorpio archetype. We all have Scorpio in our charts. So just make note of this, that this is going to be a month where control is going to be the thing that guides your life, that you're going to want more than anything else. All right. And this offers a whole other spectrum of possibilities in context of transcend and transform and surrender. You may realize there's some things that are completely out of your control and you just stop worrying about them and realize you're not going to waste your energy anymore. Or on the complete opposite note, this might look like refusing to neglect certain things in your life, assuming higher levels of responsibility, tightening up, having more grit. Again, this is the sign of power. And I also just want to reiterate, guys, not only does the sun give us life, and we're grateful for this because we need it to exist, the sun has a direct correspondence to our psychology and our life energy and our happiness and our joy and the experiences we want to seek out. So in interest of being your happiest self this month, this is really about tightening up, all right, and choosing not to be weak, all right? And I'm talking to a lot of people, man. I'm grateful to see the group get bigger and bigger every week, every single day, really. Welcome new members to the Fire Fam. Love to see you guys here. We all have different lives, man. So you have to grade yourself on your own rubric. Only you know where your deficiencies are and where your strengths really lie. So my intention is never make somebody feel judged when I'm making these videos, but just do not choose to be weak when you have the choice to be strong. I won't advocate for you to choose weakness because I care about you. You can serve yourself and serve others way better from a place of strength. Right. And that's the bottom line. And the only reason people get on my ass about this or take issue with it is because they've been brainwashed by this victim culture, this Neptune Pisces bullshit. What's crazier, advocating for strength or advocating to be weak? Most people kind of see eye to eye with me on this, man. But I just noticed that some people love to play the victim. They love to be weak because it gets them some form of consolation prize or some form of, sympathy from others. And that's not strength, man. If anything, that's even emotional manipulation too, when you have the ability to be strong. And I know inertia is a thing. And sometimes when we get deep in the dumps, we just want to pity ourselves, pity ourselves, pity ourselves. But it's like, man, you got to make a change, dude. Like, who wants the constellation prize and who wants to be, holding their hand out, receiving gifts with this false entitlement their whole fucking life? Some people do, and those are lazy fucking people. And I guess I am judging right now. So if the shoe fits, wear it. But I just will say, guys, like, this is a place on the internet, a little corner where we abide by virtues and principles. And if we can't get out of the inertia and laziness and embrace discipline and discernment, we're not going anywhere within life, simply put. Okay. Because, like I said, guys, this is the map. The terrain is your life. But when it comes to building a good life, you have to have virtues to abide by. And discipline is the number one virtue. It's our obligation to earth. I think you get what I'm saying, but let me just put it this way, guys. You have to have discipline to master anything, including yourself. And Scorpio to me is the sign of mastery. Some would say Capricorn, and I think those two kind of run parallel. But Scorpio is a deep, powerful energy. It's also ruled by Pluto, not just by Mars. Pluto is the underworld. It's where the wealth is, where the riches are. All right. Some would equate riches with power. So I guess the question I'm receiving from the universe is, where is your power? Where are your riches? Would you take the time to dig into yourself to find them? Or will you just succumb to feelings of powerlessness and nihilism? Your life matters. Just take inspired action, do your best, and trust that that's going to be enough. Okay. And like I said, like a tree, like a snake, like some other shedding animal, allow yourself to change. And life is going to be very good for you if you expect it to be, if you move in that direction. Okay. If you decide to be a blessing, you will receive a blessing. All right. And this is the sun intensified, guys. So I will just say that, it's good to be proud of yourself. It's good to love yourself and have a positive self image, but be very careful of the illusion of false pride, of feeling entitled for shit that you aren't doing, or the illusion of identification. Okay. Generally speaking, your life revolves around your identity, but you don't want to get too fixated in who you think you are. So you can be who you actually are and then evolve into the person that you need to become. Okay. Everybody's got their own dirt. Everybody's got their own filth, man. And this is not a fun thing to address for some, but I would just say, guys, if you see yourself as perfect, you really have no need to change. Okay. And that's going to make it impossible for you to move forward in a growth oriented way. 100%. So let's talk about the moon. Let's talk about the moon. Are you guys ready? I love the moon. The moon is my bestie. The moon is in Cancer. So what I got to say about this, it's a good week. Feeling our feelings. waning out. It is really giving, letting the leaves fall off the tree. So I'll show you kind of day by day. We've got the moon, moving through Cancer, then Leo, and then Virgo. And like I said, we'll end up kind of in the beginning of Libra at the end of the week. Pardon me. So we are going to have our last quarter moon on Thursday. And what is there to say about it? Watch your energy levels. See if there's things you can purge out of your life physically or metaphysically, esoterically, mentally. It's going to be a good week, guys. And when it comes to Mercury, let's talk about Mercury for a second. Mercury is in the sign of Scorpio, and Mercury governs perception. It's the powers of our intellect, okay? And Mercury is starting with a nice trine to Saturn. So I really like this, guys. I feel like the mind is working very sharp, it's working very well. Mercury in Scorpio is like a penetrating insight. This is like piercing the veil, being able to see behind the scenes. It's tunnel vision, it's direct focus, okay? So make the most of it, guys. I could say this almost in any sign that Mercury finds itself in, but it would be a really good idea to cleanse your space, to eliminate bullshit. Make sure that you aren't over encumbered by clutter because your environment is a reflection of your mind. So if your environment is needlessly cluttered and disorganized, your mind will be pretty cluttered as well. Everything holds energy. So consolidation, organization, this seems like the theme this week. Mercury trine Saturn is a disciplined mind. And that's the gift that we're having right now, guys. So this seems like a sense of power, a sense of authority, a sense of control within our perceptions, which will help us plan, strategize, and also be more discerning about what needs to be focused on, what needs to be ignored, what needs to be eliminated. I really like this. And that looks like the Mercury aspects this week. And yeah, we'll talk about some of these other aspects next week. Let's talk about Venus. Venus is in the sign of Sagittarius. And I love this right now. Dude, Venus is on top of my Pluto. I digress, guys, but I'm like feeling freaky. I don't know what that means to you, but I'm froggy. I might leap right now, dude. And Venus is how we love. Venus is everything we aspire for is beautiful in life, okay? And Venus is going to show a lot about how we relate to others and relate to ourselves. And Sagittarius is a very free spirited, fun, adventurous, jubilant sign. And that's just the time it is, guys. It's time to have a good time. You may be feeling called for adventure. You may be feeling called for spontaneity, to shake up your routine. Venus in Sag knows how to have a good time. I could say that twice, but I think you heard me. Venus in Sag knows how to have a good time. So you may be feeling like enjoying yourself and having fun, having a party, kicking it with good friends. This sign has always been associated with travel. So I think that a lot of people might be booking plane tickets and train tickets and road tripping and spending time with their friends. And even if it doesn't play out like that, there can even be this tendency to want to get out the house a little more and to kind of see what's out there and, go around your neighborhood in a different way and just go adventure, go explore a little bit and a lust for new life. Oh, yeah, that's right. So we like that. Be safe. Don't be stupid, because Jupiter is the sign, or I should say the planet that rules the sign of Sagittarius. So wherever Jupiter is concerned, there's abundance. And I know some of you guys' phones are popping. You got like eeny, meeny, miny, ho, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I can't even pick a hoe because my phone is blowing the fuck up. So again, I'm not judging anybody, but be safe. And if it harms none, do what you will. Right. On a more, I don't want to say evolved, so I'm using the air quotes. On a more evolved note, there is a spiritual undertone to Jupiter and Sagittarius's energy. So this would prompt us as well to seek deeper meaning within our relationships and our indulgences. Because I don't want to leave relationship as a blanket term just for people. We relate to all types of stuff, but definitely you'll see Venus play out in love. It's about aligning on values, aligning on vision. Do you guys remember when you used to slow dance in middle school at the dances or like homecoming, and your teacher would sometimes like take the ruler and like put it in between you and the person and be like, leave a space for Jesus. It's kind of like that, leave a space for Jesus in your relationship, right? I'm not even a Christian, y'all, but you understand the principles. Jesus is the son, allegedly. That's the way I see it, but I'm not trying to get dogmatic. We can stay above the fold today, man, and just talk about the planets. But a space for spirit, a space for the universe, a space for divinity, a spiritual connection. We could call Venus and Sag inflated intimacy or expanded intimacy. So it's like beautiful to have carnal love, and I mean physical love, right? And it's even more beautiful to have it emotional, and even better to have it intellectual. But have you ever been in a relationship that was physical, emotional, and mental, but still felt alone? Oh, yeah. I know I'm not the only one. And that could be because there is a discrepancy of values, so we may not align on our vision, and the way we relate to the universe may be somewhat different. So, you know, I'm not saying that in a relationship you need to be exactly the same as your partner, because we do grow through difference and not sameness, okay? But at the end of the day, if we're not even aiming at the same thing, or we don't have the desire to go the same place, there's no point getting in a relationship. If I want to sail to Bermuda and you want to sail to Iceland, why would we get on the same boat? Think about it. If we're sitting in the middle of the Caribbean, and it's like almost opposite directions, wouldn't it stand to reason that we would just want to get on separate boats and not have to go twice as far if we don't even want to go to the same place? It's different if we want to go to both places, you understand? But are we aligned is really the question at this time. And I will say, guys, because I could say a lot about astrology. Scorpio season is going to be a very beautiful, powerful, transformative time. It's going to be, I think, the easiest for the Scorpios and the Cancers and the Pisces, because these are also water signs. As far as the Taurus, the Aquarius, the Leos, Scorpio season can be a little bit more intense and a little bit more friction oriented. For the Leos, the Sagittarius and the Aries, Sagittarius Venus is going to be a little bit easier for those fire signs. But for those, and I'm talking like any sign, but especially the Venus. But if you happen to have your Venus in a mutable sign other than Sagittarius, like Gemini or Pisces or Virgo, you know, you may be seeing some pretty strong adjustments when it comes to your love nature at this time. Or if you happen to have other planets within Sagittarius that are going to be transited by this Venus, you'll see a lot going on, guys. So I'm just trying to bend your mind a little bit to illustrate to you that this is pretty deep, guys. And we all experience astrology differently because we all have different natal charts. Okay. And while I can give a pretty descriptive picture of Venus and Sagittarius, it has everything to do with your natal Venus and how you personally love, what your values are like. Okay. And I mentioned earlier, guys, and this is just kind of where this conversation comes from. I have Pluto in Sagittarius. So the deepest part of me is Sagittarius. Okay. So it also prompts me to remind you that you have Pluto in your chart somewhere. And this is the backbone of your chart. This is the reflection of your soul. And everything needs to be put in context of these outer planets, the generational forces which you inherit within your life. Right. And there's something to be said about nature and nurture as well. Like, where do you come from? And speaking of where you come from, we're going to talk about Mars and Cancer. And if my attitude seems a little different, I'm telling you guys, I just filmed the rest of the video. I like paused it, restarted it, yapped for like close to an hour, and the video didn't even save. So we're gonna just do it again and pretend like it's the first time. And I want to apologize if I seem a little irritated. Life is good. We get an opportunity to do it better. Better. Yes, we do. So where you come from? Your mom. Got him. So cars and Mancer, Mars and Cancer. Ah, yes. This shit is frustrating. But we love it. We enjoy it so much. It's so good. Fire family. Mars is our drive. It's our masculine energy. And I had gone in, and am so excited. You know, you got to look at these periodic disruptions and disturbances in your plans as an opportunity to grow and get better and even know yourself a little bit on a deeper level too. So Mars and Cancer on the highest, most fun, exciting note, it's like we get to connect with ourselves and we get to get stronger internally. But on a more negative note or uncomfortable note, I would say this is going to make people more insecure, more touchy, more self-defensive, more irritable, etc. It's important that with Mars and Cancer, you want to demand more from yourself and less of others. It's good to have boundaries, actually necessary to have boundaries. And we'll talk more about that, of course. But ultimately, you can really only demand from others what you are willing to provide as well. Otherwise, that's not fair. Otherwise, that's manipulation, power play. All right, Ski. And Mars is in a very auspicious place, guys. Mars is the ruling planet of Aries and Scorpio. The sun is in Scorpio, the North Node is in Aries. It's a very Mars focused time right now. Mars is the planet of action and destruction and saying no. Okay. So, my message for the world that I get from Mars is to devote to your life's work, devote to your purpose, create your dreams, create your goals. And if you don't know what it is that you desire in this world, spend more time by yourself. Spend more time developing yourself, enriching yourself, investing in yourself, and you'll see what makes you tick, what makes you click, why you want to get out of bed, man. That's Mars. Okay. And also, I'm not a dietitian or a nutritionist or a psychologist or those things, but I would just say that Mars ruling the North Node has a lot to do with us getting healthy. And it's up to you to decide what you need to do, but also don't neglect the obvious signs. Like I said, I'm not a qualified dietitian, but let's say that you are like 800 pounds and it hurts to breathe and it's hard to go up the stairs. Maybe you would lose some weight. Maybe that would help you. Maybe if you're very frail and thin and you weigh like 20 pounds, maybe you want to gain some weight. You know what I mean? I'm exaggerating and polarizing a lot because I don't want anybody to feel judged or personally called out. You know, if you smoke crack every day, or it takes you 3 fucking lines of coke to get out of bed, or you got to smoke the bong 10 times before you approach your day, maybe it's time to get sober. If you got to drink the 12 pack before you go to work, maybe it's time to stop doing that shit. Right? Right. Okay. Ugh, I'm like mourning over that last video that didn't get posted, but it's okay. It's okay. Grief is a natural part of life, and we honor it because it's that love I had for the video which makes the grief exist. It was so good, guys. It was really a good video. Let's talk about, let's go. Oh, buddy. Let's talk about Jupiter and Gemini, guys. Jupiter is the biggest planet, big chungus energy. And the thing about Jupiter is it's the king of the gods. Jupiter shows how creation works. This is inductive reasoning, intuition, cosmology, spirituality, something very deep and mystical about Jupiter. But Jupiter is in Gemini, and this is the detriment of Jupiter, just like Mars or Cancer is the detriment of Mars. So it seems that we might have to reach a little deeper to get the power with Mars and Cancer. And this might feel frustrating, exhausting sometimes, but also liberating and illuminating. So with Jupiter And Gemini, kind of the same thing. You got to reach a little bit harder for the meaning to find itself within you. But at the same time, this is going to expand the mind. And my best advice, because this is ruled by Mercury in Scorpio, is to just eliminate the things that are really distracting you and to get your life a little bit more organized. And I have a three-part process that will absolutely change your life. And if you get this, please leave it in the comments, guys. Number one, prioritization. Two, sequencing. And then three, execution. All right. What does that mean? You got to understand your priority. You have to know what the most important thing to do in your life is because everybody has different lives and different goals. So it's relative to you. Let's say that you want to be a painter or something like that. All right. Like Pablo Picasso. Right. And, you know, you got to pay bills and you got to make sure you get the rent in on time and you work a job pushing a forklift around. And that's cool. But you know, you're going to be painting on the big screen, you know? So, priorities, what is it? Your priority is to paint, right? But it would also stand in reason it's like you got to get the supplies to paint. You got to be able to afford paint and make sure that you have a place to paint. So rent comes next as well. Let's say that you have a social life and a bunch of friends because you're a Libra or something like that, and everybody wants your attention. All right. And also you want to play Flappy Bird 10 hours a day. And you want to fiddle your diddle. No devil went down to Georgia. You're trying to get your freak off, no diddy, right? And what else do you want to do? You got like 10 books that you want to read because you're curious in fantasy novels. And also, you love to volunteer at the local cat shelter. And it's like, let's say painting is your number one burning desire. So it's like maybe it stands to reason that you shouldn't fiddle your diddle 8 hours a day. And that also some days, because you might only have like 2 off days if you work like 5 out of 7 days a week, that you may have to say no to some of these people that want to kick it with you. Unless they're trying to paint, I got time for you. And also, I might need to put some time on the canvas before I open up those freaky ass romance novels. You see what I'm saying? Priorities. Priority means what do you think about prior to doing something? Put the first thing first, and then sequencing comes next. A comes before B, comes before C, comes before D. It's like, let's say you want to be Pablo Picasso. You want to be on the big screen. You want to be in the gallery. You want to sell a painting for $3 million. And you certainly could do that. People sell them for a lot more. And I'm telling you guys, people sell paintings that 5-year-olds could paint for millions of dollars. It's crazy. And this is like a slight digression, but some rich people love buying expensive art just because it's a tax deduction. So they actually like it's crazy to think about this for some of us, but it's like they genuinely want to waste a lot of money because we pay the most money in taxes, guys, out of any other expense beyond ignorance being an expense. Taxes is our second biggest expense underneath ignorance. And that's something really deep to think about, guys. Ignorance is the biggest tax we all pay, and then taxes is the second biggest expense. So prioritization, sequencing. Let's say you want to be on the big screen, you want to sell it for 3 milli, right? So if you've never even listed your art before, it's probably going to be hard to sell it for 3 million. If you aren't doing local shows, how are you going to get on the big ones, the big auctions, right? It's like, let's say you have these big ass dreams of philanthropy and charity. Don't you need money first? Or to crowdfund somehow? It's like, just put things in order, guys. Because here's the point. You may want to do a lot of things in your life, and you can really do anything in life, but you can't do everything in life. So you have to do something. To me, it stands to reason you could do everything you want to do. But if you're like me, who doubled up on ambition and decided to skip patience when they were passing out virtues, you may need to basically slow your ass down a little bit and decide what's the priority, what's the sequence, and then learn to delegate and learn to share the workload and employ the strengths of other people so you can get more done. And of course, number three is execute, guys. Just take action on the most important thing. Do first things first, and just you'll see yourself become more effective. Oh, Pisces Saturn, guys. Pisces Saturn. is giving us a chance to master some things, guys. It's the last planet we can see without the telescope. I'm saying, because I already talked about this for like 20, 30 minutes. And it doesn't matter because, when the tree falls and no one is there to hear it, it doesn't make sound, does it? So I need to chill, man. Oh, Saturn in Pisces is a gift, but it's sometimes a challenge, man, because what we're learning to master is empathy and sacrifice and recognize that this world will keep spinning without us, So we live in a society, contribution is key. Otherwise, we don't get to receive the gifts that we look for in life. And one of the most rewarding things you can do is give to somebody. All right. And it's kind of funny. Jupiter is ruling over Saturn right now. So I'm spinning back. And pardon me if this seems, I mean, you didn't get to hear the first version, but it's just so much less linear because I don't want to post this on Wednesday. Time is ticking, guys. Oh my goodness. So with Jupiter, I want to say, guys, this governs meaning. And if you're having a hard time keeping the faith in life, or you feel kind of confused or just hopeless, Jupiter wants you to do three things beyond get your priorities in sequence and order is to first study, enrich your mind, and fill up your mind with knowledge. You're on the World Wide Web, guys. Knowledge is key. Intellectual property is your most valuable resource, and ignorance is the biggest tax we pay. All right. And number two, pray. Pray in your own way. I'm not going to try to tell you how to do this or the right way to do it because everybody has a different connection to divinity. My best advice is don't pray for fish, pray for knowledge. When you give a man or woman or a non-binary person a fish, they'll eat for a minute and they'll say, was that cod? Was that mackerel? Was that a trout? Damn, I'm trying to get the soy ginger salmon next time. But if you teach them how to fish, they won't go hungry. They'll know how to feed themselves forever. So rather than praying for like things in life that you could provide yourself, pray for these intangible qualities, pray for inspiration, pray for courage, pray for strength, pray for resourcefulness, quit praying for money. And I want to say, guys, miracles do exist. The universe can bless you in unexpected ways. But again, do you want to learn how to fish? You just want to be fed. Sometimes the universe is waiting on you to get off your ass. And we got to drop this entitlement, guys. Like, Sun is in Scorpio right now, guys. So it's really character evolution, deep development of the self. And this means become a more virtuous person, eliminate your vices. I'm gonna keep it a buck 50 with y'all. I'm actually kind of glad that the first version got cut because now the gloves are off. Now I got no time or patience to be nice. So fuck, man. Quit being a shithead. I don't know who needs to hear this, man. I'm talking to myself on a screen. So if the shoe fits, wear it, but don't take this shit personally because I'm literally talking to myself. Don't be a shithead. Drop this entitlement, drop this laziness, work on discipline, work on discernment. Those are the bottom line virtues. You can't master anything without discipline and discernment. All right. And be humble. It's okay to be proud of yourself, but false pride is the illusion, and identification is the illusion. And you can't sustain yourself with yesterday's victories. Every day we start at zero. All right. So who gives a fuck if you were successful in your past? You start at zero today. You got to pay your dues every day. The rent is due every fucking day. Seriously. All right. Yes, you can rest. Yes, you can take time off. But at the end of the day, man, life doesn't stop for nobody. And the thing that kind of sucks, but if you can make peace with this, your life will get better, is that momentum builds slower than inertia. Meaning it's very easy to go backwards in life. And in objects in rest, they have a tendency to stay in rest. But an object in motion will usually stay in motion. But it takes a little more effort to get that motion. Slow motion is better than no motion, y'all. So take action. Be inspired. And the most important thing you can do is develop your character. 100%, guys, because we're social creatures, and the only way we can benefit others is through the example we give others. And let me be very clear to whoever is listening. You influence people who pretend not to notice you. Even if people don't outwardly let on that they're being inspired by you, energy is contagious. Energy is everything. Your vibration permeates the world. Truly. So the most generous, helpful, beautiful, benevolent thing you can do is be your best self. All right. And the illusion is identification. Once again, guys, I'm talking about the sun energy. So stop identifying with your struggle. Stop identifying with your pain and your challenges. Stop identifying with the bullshit. A lot of people are suffering from a dejected image of themselves, a sad, broken image, not realizing they control how they see themselves. Okay. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So take time to look at yourself and realize how beautiful you are. And now I'm just gonna kind of hit the highlights of this game because it's we got to go faster than the last one. Lilith is in Libra. Lilith is the lunar apogee. This is not a thing that you can like track physically because it's not a celestial body, but it's a geometric point that shows how far the moon could be around Earth, the furthest distance. Okay. And Lilith can talk about the shadow work we're meant to do. And also, Lilith is in the same sign as the South Node. So when it comes to the North and the South Node, let me talk about this really quick. The North Node is the future trajectory of the solar system. It stands to reason this is where we're actually going in life. All right. And the South Node is where we've been. So we have to embody and appreciate the virtues of the North Node while releasing the vices of the South. Okay. And employing the virtues nonetheless. So, the problem with Libra energy, and there's nothing wrong with Libra energy in general, and reminding you guys, we all have the 12 signs. So, the moment you point your finger at a certain sign, you're pointing three fingers back at yourself, and you have that sign in your chart as well. Even if there's no planets in the chart, in that part. I'm telling you guys, everybody has Libra, everybody has Venus, everybody has a seventh house. For real. So the crap that we got to get rid of, man. Scorpio season is like the world taking a shit. It's purging, eliminating, excretion. And my bowels be hurting, man. That's crazy, y'all. I'm like way off on a tangent. I do a colon cleanse every year twice. I do it in Taurus and Scorpio because it's the signs that rule over digestion. And there's supplements that you can do to take this. Like that's how I do it. I take these around Scorpio Taurus. It's about to be a shitty couple weeks for me, man. And a lot of us. And really shitty month for a lot of people if you really think about what Scorpio represents, elimination and excretion. So I'm sorry to get nasty, but it is life. And the thing that we need to eliminate, though, Libra energy, is this fake ass facade, this illusion of perfection, of beauty. Like Lilith and the South Node are two different things. I want to be clear, but they're very close. They're about 7 degrees away from each other. So the South Node is really our release, and Lilith is going to be a deep, nourishing factor. But also, this can be very hidden and repressed, and that can make it challenging to receive the gifts we need. Libra is love, and Libra is honesty. So we have to be able to listen to what life is and experience it for the truth of it. And also, if you consider yourself perfect, there's no need to grow at all. And if life is constantly changing and becoming, and you choose not to change or become, you'll get left the fuck behind. And there's nobody who's finished the fucking work, guys. Let me be very clear. Nobody's finished the work. Nobody. Even your idols, they're not done. So the moment you think you're done, you're lost in some fucking illusion. All right. And I say this with love. I'm just kind of fed up, man. I really wish I could have posted the first version. And I'm going to like stop bitching about it very soon. I want to slap myself in the face right now because I just be bitching. It's okay to bitch if you're moving forward, by the way. But if you're wasting energy just complaining and not making change, like shut up. Just shut the fuck up. Just shut it. People hate hearing you complain when you're not making an effort to improve yourself or your situation. Because what you're not changing, you're choosing. All right. But also, I want to say, because I said this last time, and I'm going to say it now because I felt like this was very deep in my heart, is that Lilith and Libra is a need for beauty. All right. It's a need for love and reciprocity, sure. And you go get you some, but beauty is really important too. And beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And again, you're the only one who stops you from seeing you as beautiful. But if you are not able to be holding the beauty inside of you, make some changes, man. I don't know what it is, but like, do you need to cut your nails, trim your eyebrows, switch your wardrobe, cut your hair, chisel your body, gain weight, lose weight, find better fitting clothes, develop more confidence? How can you be more beautiful? What qualities do you consider beautiful? How can you be more beautiful? That's what I get from Lilith and Libra. All right. Saturn and Pisces, we were talking about this, guys. Honor your sacrifices, okay? And recognize it's not your fucking job to save everybody in the world, because then the savior becomes the victim and the martyr. And showing others how to become a victim is not smart. Does that make sense? If I am not making sense, leave me questions, guys. I love questions. And I'm not here just to yap at everybody. So if I feel more yappy right now, it's slowly because a lot of my kindness and patience really just, I spent it on that last video. Oh, buddy, it's all good. But Saturn in Pisces just says, man, our opportunities to master emotions and to master fantasies and illusions and belief systems as well. I'm not here to tell you what to believe, but it stands to reason. These archetypes say to practice what you preach, test what you believe so you can actually see if it works. Okay. And Saturn Pisces people are going through their Saturn return. And I noticed that a lot of these people are the most kind, most empathetic, most compassionate, but they struggle with boundaries and they struggle with saying no. And they feel morally, ethically, spiritually obliged to take on everybody's suffering for whatever reason. And that's not fair. And a lot of times it's this unconscious, unwritten, unspoken motivation for others to come and save them. Like, if I know you, if I understand you, if I give you empathy, then maybe you'll give me kindness in return or something to that effect. And that's unconscious manipulation. So I just want to say, guys, that even if you consider helping others to be your purpose, you're still selfish. For real. Everybody gets, if you do like helping people, you get a chemical reward for helping people too. So it's like helping people is selfish. And that's a really funny trip to think about when it comes to Saturn Pisces energy. Everybody's selfish, guys. And if you deny this, you're a liar. Seriously. And if you want to kill your ego, you hate yourself. And that's blunt and maybe oblique, but I mean what I say. You need your ego to live. You need your ego to identify, to drive your sun, to gas up your chariot. Uranus and Taurus, guys. This is a long spread. Uranus takes about 84 years to spin the sun, 7 years to go through each sign of the zodiac. And for the last 6 years or so, Uranus has been in Taurus, making a lot of instability in the world and changing our supplies and resources. And Taurus is everything we value: money, time, energy, food, lots of changes globally. I also think that internet money is a very Taurus Uranus thing too. I say this as a self-employed person who runs an internet business, but I also felt, and I harped on this so much in the other video that you guys don't get to see, but this is the call for some people to start an internet business. Seriously. Do you guys remember how when COVID took a lot of our jobs away and we were working remote, a lot of us learned across the board, we don't have to show up to the office to get the thing done. And also, some of the labor just got automated outright. A lot of jobs got taken away completely because of COVID, because we realized it doesn't have to be done physically in the community. It can be done non-locally, or technology can take it. So a lot of people are making their way on the internet, and this is your sign to start an internet business. And you can't draw from an empty well, gang. So if you feel like you have a calling to share, and also, I have to repeat all these messages, man. Jupiter and Gemini is telling somebody here to start their damn podcast, man, to share your information. I'm not practicing. I'm not preaching what I'm not practicing. Okay, guys, I'm 72 weeks into this podcast, and I could have easily said, oh, damn, the video didn't post, I'll just not do it today. No, consistency, man. Post your damn content, share your message, write the book, make the journal, make the course, teach somebody. But again, you can't draw from an empty well. So if you have this inspiration or this idea that you want to run a certain business, but you lack the skills, it's time for you to study. It's time for you to study. I'm all over the place right now. Jupiter, Gemini. I blame it on myself, honestly. But Jupiter wants us to study, to pray, and to give to charity. If you're tired of feeling hopeless, give. When you're at your worst, if you can just give, you'll feel better about yourself, even if it's in a selfish way. I would encourage you when you give not to expect things in return. If anything, you can just expect that dopamine reward, you know? Get that selfish dopamine reward and know that you can help other people. You can lift them up. When you're feeling at your worst, I challenge you to give to somebody, see if it makes you feel better. But also, don't give to them with some false feeling of entitlement, like they need to give to me back because I gave to them. That's fucking unfair. That's selfish. That's manipulation. For real. For real. I'm telling you guys, this world doesn't owe us shit. It really doesn't. And if we can make peace with that, we can go secure ours. Saturn and Pisces and Neptune and Pisces. There's a lot to say here, guys, about the state of the world and the culture. All right. And that's Saturn, the state of the world, the culture, Neptune, respectively. All right. So Saturn and Pisces is asking us to build our dreams, to have faith in life, to really question our beliefs and make sure that makes sense. And Neptune and Pisces is really like the backdrop of society. All right. Neptune is the planet of dreams and fantasies. And this really does show us the vision that we're wanting to manifest into being. And Neptune and Pisces is a vision of transcendence, a vision of perfection, a vision of beauty, unity, all the good shit, kumbaya. And that's amazing, guys, because I've been seeing in the last decade or so with Neptune doing this sign that there is this spiritual revival and awakening across the whole board. People are really recognizing that they are bigger than just themselves and there's higher forces and they can manifest. And, for a long time, Neptune and Pluto have been sextile. And I'm going to repeat that, guys. It's pretty well known in the collective conscience right now that we do co-create our reality, that through the sheer depth of our vision, through our manifestation powers, our imagination, our inspired action, and our trust in the universe, that we can create our lives. All right. But Neptune is the planet of illusions too. And it can go too crazy, too woo woo. It can be so mystifying. It denies the world for what it is and is just lost as hell and delusional. So I will say, on a more gentle and subtle note, know that this is the age of social media. And this is a time now more than ever where people portray the most beautiful and inspired and perfect part of themselves, and they touch up their photos and they edit their videos and they doctor all this crap, and social desirability bias is so fucking high. People bite their tongue and pretend to be perfect and spiritual bypass all the goddamn time. All right. And it's this love and light woo woo bullshit that got people repressing their shadow work and causing more harm to the world. For real. People don't want to feel their feelings. They think it's all love, but they are full of fucking hatred in their hearts. And I'm not saying hatred is a bad thing or love is a good thing. I'm literally saying neither, but it's just saying live a balanced life, man. And if you want to be perfect, you have to really appreciate all parts of yourself. And beyond this one, man, Neptune in Pisces is an escapist victim culture. And I hate this shit, man. You really got to be past your honest time to be able to speak about the culture. All right. And you're not supposed to agree with everything I say, guys. Let me say that clearly. Cool if you do. If you don't, it's all good. Yes, I'm communicating to the world. Yes, I'm using this podcast to influence. My intention is to lead people into themselves, into sovereignty, into strength. But I just don't like the whole state of the world right now. And I'm working to change it. One person can change it, but it takes a village, truly. And I will never advocate for weakness. That doesn't mean I'm not going to advocate for people that are weak. That's not the same thing. Don't misunderstand what I'm saying. If you have the choice to be strong, but you choose to be weak, you're a bullshit human. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. And if that offends you, fuck you. I lost my patience after having to re-record this shit. I promise you it was 10 times nicer, but That's how I really feel. All right. We can only lead by example. And the beautiful thing about having a society is we can look out for those that are marginalized, disenfranchised, suffering, disabled, hurt, despondent, right? But nature has always shown that the strong only survive. And I'm not trying to be extremist. Is like don't take me for Hitler and say that we need to exterminate people and create an Aryan race. That's not what the fuck I'm saying. I'm just saying, guys, like when we have strength, we can protect the weak, but we can also show others how to strengthen themselves. Some things are in the realm of your control. Some things fall into your realm of choice making. Some things don't. Like, what if you were born without legs and arms, severe disabilities? Then I wouldn't expect you to do 100 push-ups a day, right? Nobody should. So we got to be real about our limits, guys. And social welfare exists for a reason. And I'm born with Jupiter at 27 Pisces, guys. Every day of my life, I have this Piscean vision of a more beautiful world, a utopia where we coexist and co-collaborate. And we have compiled our resources to the point where we don't even need unnecessary cruelty to eat. And I harped about this on the other version that as an example of this delusional ass culture, some of these vegans are lost, man. I'm not here to preach being a carnivore or preach being a vegan. It's just about being honest with yourself. Like you'll see some vegans that choose not to eat meat, but they got like crocodile Birkins or whatever. And that's technically not veganism in its true definition, but you see what I'm saying. Or these people may think that they're better because they don't eat animals, but meanwhile, they emotionally manipulate other people and feed off of their energy. It's bullshit. It's really bullshit. There's a word that comes from the Hopi people of indigenous Arizona, the Native American Arizona people. And this word is Powakatsi. And it basically means power play. And all of life is engaged in this game of power, consumption, and acquisition. And this exists in the animal kingdom, and it always has. It exists in the plant kingdom, and humans just decide to ignore it because we live in a society, because we've been able to shelter ourselves from the dangers of the primal world. And we just like to deny that it exists, guys, but it exists on all levels. And Pluto and Capricorn. Pluto is changing signs this month. I should say, really, in November, in the sign of Scorpio. Pluto will move to Aquarius. So it doesn't take a genius or a scholar to look at the world and the governing systems and see tyranny and see late stage capitalism, neo-feudalism. Like even the corporate structures are trying to consume more and more power and energy. And it's like the rich pay next to no taxes. The poor people pay almost all the taxes. Is that fucking fair? I personally don't think so. But alas, that's how this shit has been built. All right. And you got good, kind hearted people in the systems, policing the systems, holding people accountable to these standards that are not necessarily fair. So, how the fuck do you play the game and win? How do you beat the wolf? You have to beat the wolf at its own game, dude. So, I'm talking like start your business, get the LLC, get tax benefits. And also, we need social reform too. Like, no bullshit, guys. It's important to be somewhat political, but I also don't buy into this idea that someone's going to come and save us. Not Kamala, not Trump. Nobody's going to come fucking save us. White, light, left, God bless my language. Left wing, right wing, it's the same damn bird, y'all. Same damn bird. We got to save ourselves. We have to advocate as people for the policies that we want, and we have to elect the people that we consider most harmonious with our values. And it's beyond the presidential level. It's the electoral college. It's the local state level that we need to really advocate for. And we'll see a lot of changes within Pluto and Aquarius, guys. I have hope for the future. I really do see things getting a lot better in the state of the world. I'm not here to bitch about problems. I really like to offer solutions, guys. Just understand this. Fear is the key to oppression. All right. And that's what really needs to be understood when it comes to changing the world is that the powers that be, because there are powers in this world, needs you to be afraid to give up your power. All right. So the virtue has to be courage. Mars ruling the North Node. Virtue is courage, courageous behavior. Without that, you'll be a little sheep. Bah, and you'll be weak. And what happens to the weak? They don't usually survive. And this is so cold, man. And I feel like not everybody wants to hear it, but it's just the truth, guys. Like, what happens to the slowest gazelle? It's always been that way. What happens when a cat has 9 kittens and 8 nipples? What happens? People don't like to talk about this. People don't like to look at the fucking things in front of their face. People like to ignore the fact that life can be ugly, right? But the beautiful thing, guys, if you're able to internalize this conversation, you're not one of the weak. You're mentally strong, and that's high leverage. So you can serve the world wholeheartedly from a place of strength. You can create all the opportunity you need. You can be abundant. You can be rich. You can be prosperous, and you can show others how to live a good life as well. And that's really the message, guys. I could talk about a lot of this stuff. I think I've kind of covered most of it. Um, and a little bit faster than last time, but there's healing that needs to be done when it comes to self-image, Chiron and Aries. We have to make sure that we see ourselves in a positive way and also raise our energy. And if we feel wounded on the vital force level, we got to take care of our health. Sleep better, eat better, drink more water, touch grass, get sunlight, movement, exercise. The stuff you already know what to do. But it's just worth the reminder, guys. It's Scorpio season. It's a season of transformation. So what are we going to let go of that's not helping us grow? What's hindering us right now? Evolution is the only solution. Self-mastery is the only success that you're ever going to find in this life, guys. So just remember that. Trying to refresh my memory if there's anything else to talk about. There is one interesting aspect, well, a couple, this week that I really called out last time. I think they're pretty cool. And by the way, gang, I do have that video in the description for Scorpio season. If you want to get a highlight for the month ahead and kind of go a little bit further, you can see the major events of the month. The first thing I want to highlight is, and I might have already said this at the beginning, but Mercury and Saturn are trine. So this is going to really help us organize our life and consolidate and use our resources better. And also, I'm not going to move it forward, but I'll just show it to you guys that, Venus in Sagittarius is basically going to apply square to Saturn in Pisces. At the end of the week, Venus hits about 14 Sag, like I said. So around Sunday night, Monday night, we'll see a 90-degree angle between Saturn and Venus. And this is a more serious week when it comes to relationships and energy and our resources, right? So to me, this is a beautiful thing. I always see the good in life. The negative part would say you may kind of feel lonely. You may feel kind of sad. You may have an illusion at some point that no one loves you. I sure hope not. But if that's the case, just brace for impact and remember you are loved and take a double dose of healthy self-love. Look yourself in the mirror, talk to yourself, speak love and life into yourself, encourage yourself, make yourself more confident. And also, financial revision is a very Venus Saturn thing as well. Time to check out your bills, time to cancel subscriptions that you aren't using, lock in, consolidate, invest some money, think about long term. And this could also talk about boundaries and relationships. I could talk, man. I've spent so long in this video, even though you guys aren't going to see the half of it, which is funny. So fingers crossed that this part actually records, because if it doesn't, I will have to scream for a second and then record a third version. But what else is there to say? Not much. Weird ass hoes. Sometimes I'd be singing my intrusive thoughts, and this morning it was something like that, dude. Like the first, after I said my prayers and my affirmations, I was just like singing weird ass hoes. They're so weird. These weird ass hoes. And some of you stalk my page, and I'm talking to your stupid face. You're a weird ass hoe. And I still love you with your weird ass. Yes. Jelking and mogging. Kermit the Frogging. I'm getting unhinged, man. And I think we should do this more often. Because nobody wants to hear me talk about astrology for 2 fucking hours. They want to hear about jelking and mogging and weird ass hoes. And I'm gonna have to hit the booth and we'll make another song. Yeah, something like that. Bro, this is the crazy thing because that's just the hook, but that could get stuck in your head. Weird ass hoes. That's how this shit goes. I don't know what else to say to you, Fire Family, besides I love you. Hope this lifted you up a little bit. If it did, sing the chorus in the comments. May you be blessed. May you manifest all that you desire in your lifetime, gang. I know that you will. Let me know that you will. Peace.